Hello and warm regards from Next Ties team. Welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis. Today is 1st December and let's see the topics that we are going to cover today. The first topic we are having is India's effective exchange rate. So here we are going to see what is the recent trend, what are the reasons for the trend, and lastly what will be the implication of that trend in the future economic policy. The second topic we are having is particulate matter 2.5. What are the health impact of these pollutants, and also there is a finding that these particulate matters are increasing knee and joint pains in humans. Then third topic we are having is World AIDS Day. Today is December 1 and we are observing or we are celebrate December 1 as the World's AIDS Day. Then fourth topic we are having is India coffee crop. How has been India's performance? What is the significance of coffee crop in India? And lastly, Cyclone Ditwah. How the cyclones are being named, that we are going to discuss in the Cyclone Ditwah. So let's start with the first topic. The first topic we are having is India's effective exchange rate. Now what is the backdrop? The backdrop is that Indian rupee is at its lowest. For the first time, Indian rupee has breached the 89 rupees per dollar mark. So Indian rupee is at its lowest. The relevance here is GS paper 3 Indian economics. Now let's go to the news. The news is that for the first time Indian rupee has breached the rupees $89 mark and it has closed at rupees 89.46 per dollar. Now if we see or we compare with the other currencies also, Indian rupee is not doing very well. It is depreciating with respect to all the currencies of the world, the major currencies of the world. Even for the last year, if we compare, last year the $1 was valuing around 84.49 rupees. Now $1's value is 89.46. That simply means the value of rupee is depreciating in the international market. Now we have to see what is the trend here and how we compare the effective exchange rate in with respect to this context. Now if we see, we have two types of effective exchange rates. One is a nominal effective exchange rate, another one is a real effective exchange rate. Nominal and real, the difference is that the nominal exchange rate, if it is adjusted with inflation, then it gives real effective exchange rate. Now here the word exchange rate. Exchange rate basically can be of four types. One is nominal exchange rate, another one is real exchange rate. Then another one is nominal effective exchange rate. Another one is real effective exchange rate. Now we have four types of exchange rate based upon the method of calculation. The first one is nominal exchange rate, second one is nominal effective exchange rate, third one is real exchange rate, and fourth one is real effective exchange rate. Now what is the difference between a nominal exchange rate and a nominal effective exchange rate? इन दोनों में क्या difference है? The nominal exchange rate means that we are comparing rupee with only one currency. Rupee with only one currency. So if rupee is being compared with dollar, it is nominal exchange rate. If rupee is compared with yen, then it is nominal exchange rate. Now, if we take the weighted average of all the currencies or the countries' currencies with which we do major trade, then we get the nominal effective exchange rate. तो जैसे मान लीजिए with US we are having a trade of almost 50% and with yen if we are having a trade of 50%, just a hypothetical figure. तो इन दोनों का जो वेटेड एवरेज लेके जो एक्सचेंज रेट आएगा उसे हम क्या बोलेंगे? नॉमिनल इफेक्टिव एक्सचेंज रेट. Because between two countries the exchange rate will be decided by the trade which is happening between the two countries. If India is trading with Saudi Arabia and India mainly imports from Saudi Arabia, so that simply means that Indian rupee's value will be less as compared with the Saudi Arabia's currency. However, when India is exporting more, for example, India is exporting more to Japan, then our exchange rate will be higher as compared to that of Japan. So when we compare the overall scenario of the country, कि जहाँ हम ट्रेड करते हैं उनको अगर हम क्लब करें, then we get this nominal effective exchange rate. Now what is the difference between nominal and real? Nominal simply means what is the current price, उसके basis पे हम जो exchange rate निकालेंगे, that is the nominal exchange rate, whether it be effective or whether it be simple one. when we adjust or when we remove the inflation part from it, then it becomes real. So, with the nominal exchange rate, we have the real exchange rate. With the nominal effective exchange rate, we are having the real effective exchange rate. Now, next part is that this effective exchange rate, how we are calculating it. So, our exchange rate, this nominal exchange, this effective exchange rate is calculated by taking a weighted average of 40 key trading partners. The base year is 2015-16, where index is taken as 100. The next thing is, if there is increase in the index, if there is increase in this thing NEER or EER, then it simply means there is appreciation of the rupee, and if it is declining, that it simply means that the rupee is depreciating. So, if NEER or real effective exchange rate increases, it simply means rupee is appreciating. If it decreases, then simply means rupee is depreciating. So, this was about the real effective exchange rate. Now, next thing is, what is the trend since 2022? If we see the trend since 2022, we find that the nominal effective exchange rate in 2018-19, it was above 100. From the next period, that is after COVID, 2022 से लेके 2025 तक we have found that the exchange rate was around 90. So 93 से 90 के बीच में था वो exchange rate हमारा. So it was between this 93 से it was between 90s तक. Now in the recent time, in the last 5-6 months, जब से when the Trump put tariffs on India, the NEER has been declining. And similar trend we observed with respect to the REER, that is a real effective exchange rate. So with respect to real effective exchange rate, we are also finding that it is also declining since the tariffs have been put on India. So that simply means that the tariffs imposed by USA on India has a negative impact on India's exchange rate. Now next part that comes is that why this exchange rate is declining. So one reason is simply that there is rupee depreciation. The another reason is that we are having a low domestic inflation, and these two are leading to a real effective exchange rate which is below 100. If we see, the general appreciation against the major currencies has been there is a depreciation against the major currencies. Uske saath saath the inflation rate in India is also very low. For October it was 0.25, and if we compare with respect to other economies like US, Japan, UK, Euro areas, it is much higher. Now how this low domestic inflation is affecting our effective exchange rate? See, we have two effective exchange rate, one is nominal effective exchange rate, another one is real effective exchange rate. Now the difference between these two is decreasing. The difference is decreasing because of this low domestic inflation. So this low domestic inflation plus rupee depreciation is reducing our real effective exchange rate, or it is making it near to be the nominal effective exchange rate. Now next part that comes is that exchange rate, what are the methods of regulation? On the basis of methods of regulation, how do we classify the exchange rate? So basically three methods. One is flexible exchange rate, second one is fixed exchange rate, and third one is managed exchange rate. Now IMF says that India, if we go for the India, then the RBI, how it has managed the exchange rate, the trend has been changing. Initially it was floating exchange rate, whatever was happening in the global economy, the exchange rate was adjusting to by itself. Then secondly it got for the stabilized part, then the RBI was trying to stabilize the India's rupee value in the external market, because the rupee was becoming very volatile. So that's why there was a factor of stabilization which the RBI was following. Now in the recent times what we are following is a crawl like. The crawl like क्या होता है? Crawl like का मतलब ये है कि it is not fully floating but not strictly pegged. तो ना तो वो market forces पे depend करेगी fully, ना ही वो पूरी तरह से फिक्स होगी, तो इट विल बी बिटवीन दैट. सो इट सेज करेंसी आर अलाउड टू मूव ग्रेजुअली विद इन अ 2% बैंड अराउंड अ ट्रेंड. सो वट एवर इज द ट्रेंड, मान लीजिए दिस इज द ट्रेंड, सो वी आर गोइंग टू अलाउ द करेंसी टू मूव 2% अराउंड दैट ट्रेंड. So this is known as crawl like exchange rate management. So now RBI is following this crawl like exchange rate method. Now next is RBI using a more flexible exchange rate management, intervening only occasionally through dollar buying or selling. So it simply means this crawl like means कि हर बार RBI is not intervening, it is only intervening when it is finding that the rupee is becoming too volatile. Now for this, why RBI has taken this stand? First of all, the inflation is falling in India, so that's a positive for us because it is trying to keep the rupee in a stable position. उसके साथ साथ the negative factor here is the international market scenario. We have to maintain the trade competitiveness because of the US tariffs and also China redirecting exports due to global tension. So these are the global scenarios due to which the RBI has to take some action, and this falling inflation is a factor which helps RBI to maintain a distance from it. तो ये रुपये की वैल्यू को डिप्रिशिएट नहीं होने देगा. If the inflation is more, the rupee will depreciate more, whereas these two factors are going to lead to depreciation of rupee. So what RBI is doing, that RBI is trying to maintain maintain a rupee value which is around that trend. Neither it is trying to bring it down, neither it is trying to control it, or neither it is trying to make it free. So it is just trying to maintain a trend which is 2% around it. Now next part that comes is that what is the expectation for the future? For the future expectation, there will be CPI low CPI inflation that is going to continue. उसके साथ साथ we are going to have a normal depreciation. So in the coming future, we are going to see that the real effective exchange rate is going to fall. Now based upon the discussion, you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the second topic. The second topic we are having is particulate matter 2.5. Now why it is in news? It is in news because doctors have reported that there is a surge in the rheumatoid arthritis cases in Delhi NCR, and the prime reason given is the exposure or increased exposure to PM 2.5. Now relevance is GS Prelims, health and science. Also there can be a question in the maze with respect to the overall impact of pollution on the human health. Now if we see the news is that there is a increased cases of rheumatoid arthritis in Delhi NCR, and the basic reason is given to more exposure to the PM 2.5 or particulate matter 2.5. Then we have nitrogen oxides and ozone, because they are increasing the tendency of having joint pains and rheumatoid arthritis in the Delhi citizens. Now if we see what is PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5 means that the size of these particles is less than 2.5 micrometers. Now if we have to visualize it, how do we visualize it? If we visualize it, a human hair's average diameter is 50 to 70 micrometers, whereas a particulate matter is only 2.5 micrometer. That means it is even 30 times smaller than that of a human hair, 20 to 30 times smaller than that of a human hair. Even particulate matter 10 is also almost 5 to 7 times smaller than a human hair's diameter. Now next thing, what does this PM or particulate matter 2.5 constitutes? So it constitutes acids like nitrates and sulfates, organic chemicals, metals, then we have soil or dust, allergens. So these are the particles which constitute this PM 2.5. Now next thing, what is the sources for this particulate matter 2.5? So the basic sources include fossil fuel burning, industrial emissions, construction activity, wildfires and slash and burning, then we have household cooking or solid fuels. So basically particulate matter 2.5 is being released by the burning of the fossil fuels or any organic matter. So these are going to release this particulate matter 2.5. So these are the basic sources, and if you talk about the Delhi NCR, it is basically the vehicle pollution and the burning of stubble in the open fields. Now next thing is, what is the impact of this particulate matter 2.5? So see, basic impact directly is upon the respiratory system. So what happens is that the particulate matter becomes dangerous. Why? Because larger particles can be trapped in the nose or the throat, but particulate matter 2.5 is so small that it actually reaches to the lungs. So these fine particles reach even to the lung alveoli, not even to the lung, they can reach up to the lung alveoli and can go into the blood stream. When they go into the bloodstream, what is going to happen? Then they are going to reach to the organs and they are going to affect the organs. That's why the rheumatoid arthritis is increasing. Now this triggers a wide range of health problems. Let's see the problems. The first one is worsening of the respiratory disease. Diseases like asthma, bronchitis, COPD becomes very frequent. There is a possible development of chronic bronchitis also. Next is heart and vascular tissues. There is a high risk of heart attacks, strokes, arthritis and heart diseases. It causes inflammation and oxidative stress, contributing to plaque building up in the arteries. So it can lead to respiratory diseases, and as it is reaching in blood streams, so it can also lead to heart and vascular diseases. Now next thing that comes is that how does this PM 2.5 trigger pain, or you can say pain in the joints. So what happens is that there are three mechanisms through which this can be done by the PM 2.5. The first one is oxidative stress and inflammation. PM 2.5 carries reactive chemicals, because chemicals include sulfates and nitrates. So these chemicals can cause oxidative stress in the tissues, inflammatory signaling throughout the body. The second one is immune misfiring and auto antibody production. What can happen is that this PM 2.5 can disrupt the immune tolerance, leading to misidentification of the self tissue as foreign. So अपने ही टिश्यू को फॉरेन मान लेगी बॉडी. जब फॉरेन मानेगी तो क्या होगा? There will be production of auto antibodies and rheumatoid factor. That is going to lead to the killing of the self tissues. This can set a stage for the autoimmune disease like RA. Then epigenetic and genetic interaction. This is a third mechanism. In this, certain genes controlling immune response are more vulnerable to the pollutants. As the pollutants come in their contact, they switch on and they cause autoimmune diseases. Now next is, what is the direct effect on the joint tissues? The pollutants absorbed in the bloodstream can reach joints and can trigger synovial inflammation and can also increase joint swelling, stiffness and pain. So this is the reason why the joint pains are increasing in the people who are exposed to these pollutants. Now next is, it's your turn. You have to attempt this MCQ and you post your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the third topic. The third topic we are having is World's AIDS Day. Now what is the backdrop here? The backdrop is that today December 1 we celebrate as World's AIDS Day. Now relevance is from GS Prelims paper. Now let's go to the news. The news is that today we are celebrating the World's AIDS Day, and this year's theme is overcoming disruption, transforming the AIDS response. Now let's go to the news. The news is that the World's AIDS Day is celebrated since 1988 and it was first organized by WHO. The theme we have already discussed. Now focus is on strengthening resilience of HIV services and ensuring equitable community-led approaches. Now next we come to, if we talk about India's performance, how India has done with respect to fighting or combating this disease. So if we see, in 2008 the HIV prevalence was 0.33%. Now the HIV prevalence has decreased to 0.2%. Now prevalence means कि population में कितने लोग उससे affected हैं. So we have decreased it percentage wise as well as number wise. Then second is new infections. Earlier it was 1.25 lakhs. Now it has declined to 64,500. AIDS related deaths, they have decreased to 32,200. So that simply means that we have been able to spread more awareness about the disease. We have improved our healthcare. So we have been able to avoid, or we have been able to decrease these two things. Now next part comes is that the policy framework which is related with the AIDS prevention in the country. We are having a proper act for the AIDS patients. So it is HIV AIDS Prevention and Control Act of 2017. Now this act first of all says that, first of all, the protection of the rights of the people who are affected with HIV. Then second is, it prohibits discrimination. They cannot be discriminated in any part of the society. Third one is, they ensure confidentiality. That means if any the medical records of that person will not be made public, or they will not be disclosed to everyone. So this is the basic framework of protection provided by this HIV Prevention and AIDS Prevention and Control Act of 2017. Now next part is, if we talk about India's journey, how India has fought this menace. So first of all, in the early phases, when this disease was identified in 1980s, So, 1985 to 1991, the focus was on case dissection, safe blood transfusions, and awareness campaign. Then in 1991, we established a proper proper program known as NACP, and NACO was established, which was actually spearheading the fight against this HIV and AIDS. Now, this National AIDS and STD Control Program known as NACP, it was launched in 1992. There has been total 5 phases till now. The first phase 1992 to 1999, then second was 1999 to 2006, third phase was 2007 to 2012. Now, the fourth phase was very defining one here. It was our last recent one. So, this 2012 to 17 was the fourth phase. In this phase, our objective was to accelerate the reversal of the epidemic, ensuring integrated response. Now, target was basically 50% reduction in the new infections and universal access to the care. That's why we also enacted the the AIDS or the HIV or AIDS Control and Prevention Act. Now, the key initiatives include HIV AIDS Act was enacted at this time. Then second thing was Mission Sampark. This is important, question can be directly asked. Mission Sampark का मतलब क्या है? Re-engaging people living with HIV. So, the this abbreviation that you have earlier seen, PLHIV, it means people living with HIV. Then third one is test and treat policy, antiretroviral therapy for all diagnosed cases, and lastly the routine viral load monitoring. So, these have been the key initiatives under this NACP 4. Now, next phase that comes is the NACP 5. The tenure is 2021 to 2026. Now, if we see, there is a gap between 17 and 21. So, for this period, the NACP 4 was extended. Now, in 2021, we had the next phase. So, it includes reducing the annual new HIV cases by 80%, reduce AIDS related death mortalities by 80%, eliminate vertical transmission of HIV and syphilis, then promote universal access to quality STI RTI service for at risk and vulnerable population, and lastly eliminate HIV AIDS related stigma and discrimination. So, basically this again has given some targets. First of all, there is a focus on prevention. So, 80% reduction होना चाहिए cases में. The second focus was that the mortality or death due to AIDS that should be reduced. Third one is जो transmission है from mother to child, that has to be checked. And lastly, we have to focus upon reducing the discrimination against the people who have been affected by this HIV or AIDS. Now, next is what this scheme is a central sector scheme, that is important for us. Outlay is around 15,471 crore rupees. The next part is the SDG 3.3 relates with the HIV and AIDS. So, it says end AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. So, this NACP 4 actually tries to target this SDG 3.3. So, 3.3 you should be able to remember. Then focus is on strengthening prevention, testing, treatment, addressing and persisting gaps. So, this is about the NACP. Now, next part that comes is that what are the government initiatives, what approach we have taken. So, the first approach of ours is strengthening national wide awareness campaign. So, we have focused upon the awareness part. Second is expanding outdoor reach. Then third part is community level awareness. So, let us see one by one. The first part is the strengthening national wide awareness. So, uske liye we have NACO. It is through mass media, digital platforms and social media spreading awareness about the HIV and AIDS, how you have to prevent yourself. If you are affected, then what you have to do. Then expanding outdoor outreach, for example, hoardings, board panels, kiosks, folk performances are being done. Then at the community level, awareness programs are being run, for example, SGs, Anganwadi workers, Asha workers, Panchayati Raj institutions are being taken on role, and they are spreading the awareness about the HIV and the AIDS. The next part is targeted intervention. So, 1587 projects active across India as of October 2025. It will ensure equitable access to prevention, testing and treatment of these high risk groups. Then thematic campaigns against stigma and discrimination, and appointment of an ombudsman. Under HIV AIDS Act of 2017, 34 states have appointed this ombudsman, who is going to see about the complaints that are regarding that are by these people living with HIV. So this is the overall structure of India's fight against the HIV. Now it's your turn. You have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post your answers in the comment box. The fourth topic is India, the coffee crop. Now, what is the backdrop? The backdrop is that India is the 7th largest coffee producer of the world. Now, this topic is relevant from GS paper 3 and comes under the major crops. Now, if we see coffee, how the coffee plantation came to India. So, see, coffee is not an indigenous crop of India. It has been imported from outside world. Now, how did this coffee crop came to India? The coffee crop came to India by a Sufi saint, Baba Budan. Now, you might have seen in Karnataka there is a hills known as Baba Budan Hills. So, those hills are upon the name of this saint. This saint Baba Budan, he brought seven coffee seeds and he planted them. From there, the coffee plantation in India started. So, this happened in 1600 AD. So, this is a story about how coffee was introduced to India. Now, next thing is, it was initially a garden crop, then the commercial cultivation started. Now, next we go to the facts that we need. The first one is India is the 7th largest coffee producer of the world and 70% is exported to 128 countries. The annual production is around 3.6 lakh tons. Now, if we see, it is grown over 4.91 lakh hectares of land and more than 2 million people are engaged in the coffee production. So, these are the facts that you should be knowing. India is the 7th largest coffee producer of the world, 4.91 lakh hectares of land it is cropped, and thirdly, it provides employment to 2 million people. So, these are the people who are engaged in coffee production. The next part is coffee. How do we divide it? We divide coffee into two parts. One is Arabica, second one is Robusta. Now, Arabica जो crop है, that is the Arabica variety is grown in the cooler highlands, whereas Robusta is seen in warmer humid regions. So, this is the difference between Arabica and the Robusta variety of the coffee. Now, next part is that what is the export status of India. So, if we talk about export status, India is the 5th largest coffee exporter. 5% of the global coffee exports India accounts for. Now, which are the countries where this coffee goes? So, majorly Italy, Germany, Belgium, Russia and UAE, Indian coffee goes, and Indian coffee variety is quite good. Next is the value of the export is more than $1 billion and it is expected that it will reach $1.8 billion by 24-25, 40% growth from the previous year. The next part that comes is that where is this coffee grown? So, the major coffee growing regions are this one. The southern India in the Nilgiris, Cardamom Hills, these are the region where the coffee is being grown, and 3 states, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu are the major growing areas. They account for more than 96% of the total coffee production in India. And we have basically various coffee regions like Annamalais, Araku Valley, Baba Budangiris, Chikmagaluru, Coorg, Nilgiris, Shivroy Hills, Travancore and Wayanad. Now, you have to mark on your map where is this Coorg, where are Nilgiris, where are Baba Budan Hills, Annamalai Hills, then we have Shivroy Hills. So, you have to mark these points in the map, or you have to locate them in the atlas. Now, next part that comes is that if we see, we have divided the whole coffee regions into 3 parts. So, the one major region we have already discussed, it is a traditional, that is Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Now, there are non-traditional also coming in, because when we are seeing that coffee is giving so much revenue, it is so much lucrative, then Andhra Pradesh and Odisha are also seeing certain areas where coffee is being produced. So, now new regions are Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. उसके अलावा नॉर्थ ईस्ट में वी हैव टी प्रोडक्शन. सो उसके साथ इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट वी हैव असम, अरुणाचल प्रदेश, मणिपुर, मेघालय, मिजोरम, नागालैंड एंड त्रिपुरा. बेसिकली द 7 states of the north east, they are also seeing increasing coffee production in those areas, but still the major producers are this region only. So this is the major coffee producing region of the country. Now next part comes is that the coffee has been given GI tag status also. So there are basically these type of coffees which have been given this GI tag. So one is Coorg Arabica, then Wayanad Robusta. What is Arabica? What is Robusta? Tell me. You have to tell me that. Then Chikmagalur Arabica, Araku Valley Arabica, Baba Budangiri Hills Arabica. Then Monsoon Malabar Robusta also has got GI tag. So these are the coffee varieties which have been accorded GI tag based upon the location in which they have been grown. Now one more thing is there, that is specialty coffee. Now what are these specialty coffees? These are high quality coffee beans and they are basically hand picked. So they will be having a better flavor, they will be having better taste with respect to coffee. So these include Monsoon Malabar AA, then Mysore Nugget Extra Bold and Robusta Kapi Royal. So these are the three specialty coffees which are supplied by the India. Now next thing is Coffee Board of India. What are the initiatives that India has taken? So we are having a coffee board which is actually going to look at the whole supply chain of the coffee, research se leke market tak. So everything, this coffee board is going to help the coffee plantations. This coffee board was established by the Coffee Act of 1942. So ये before independence का ये board है, and basically it was set up in the wake of World War II when the coffee prices plummeted. So in that case we established the Coffee Board of India, that is it was established by the British India. The next thing is that there are going to be 33 members in this board. So members will be coming from various ways. There will be laborers also, there will be workers also, there will be planters also, there will be representative, the political representatives also. So all will be part of this members. Now mandate is support the entire coffee value chain, R&D, financial, technical assistance, market promotion. So basically यही काम होता है boards का. So they actually help with the supply value chain of that particular product. जैसे tea board है तो उसका भी क्या काम होगा? It will be focusing upon the value chain of that particular crop. Now next thing is what are the policy initiatives that India is taking? First of all GST reduction जो हमने अभी देखा था. So there has been a reduction from 18% to 5% on all coffee varieties, coffee extracts, essences or instant coffee, which has reduced the retail price. Second is India UK CETA, because India is exporting the coffee. So in that case India has said that there should be duty free access for the value added coffees by India. Then with respect to EFTA, India after Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, that is TEPA, it has gone for zero duty for the coffee exports to certain countries like Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, which will promote the premium coffee exports of the India. Then next is we are also having some awards like Flavors of India, Fine Cup Award, then Know Your Kapi program, then Koraput Coffee. So these are the awards for the recognition of better varieties of the coffee or to spread awareness about the coffee. Then what is going to be the future? So India's future is said that India's projected growth rate or compounded annual growth rate will be 8.9% by 2028. Next is the coffee board aims to scale the production up to 9 lakh tons by 2047. Focus will be on quality, sustainability, equitable growth, blending tradition with modern enterprise. So that is going to be the next objective of this coffee board. Now based upon the discussion, you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to put your answers in the comment box. And let's move to the fifth topic. The fifth topic we are having is how do we name tropical cyclones? Now what is the backdrop here? The backdrop is that we are having Ditwah cyclone which is approaching the Tamil Nadu coast. Already it has created havoc in Sri Lanka, and India was also helping Sri Lanka in search and rescue missions in humanitarian assistance. Now relevance is GS paper 3 with respect to important geophysical phenomena such as cyclones. Now let's see the news. The news is that this particular cyclone Ditwah is around 90 kilometers southeast of the Tamil Nadu, and it is expected that after that it is going to weaken out. Now next part is that how do we name the tropical cyclones, because every year we face tropical cyclones. So there is a mechanism through which we name these tropical cyclones. Now cyclones are widely named by two entities. One is regional specialized meteorological centers or tropical cyclone warning centers. Now Indian Meteorological Department is one of these authorized center which can name these cyclones. Now what we are having this mechanism, इस mechanism में क्या होता है कि there are 13 countries and each country is going to give certain names to these meteorological departments कि हम ये नाम देते हैं, and there is a list that will be given by each country. Now these list first of all will be accepted by these regional specialized meteorological centers and tropical cyclone warning centers, and once they have been finalized, then the cyclones will be named in a rotation wise manner. For example, पहला cyclone आया तो the name given by India that has been accepted. The next cyclone, Yemen name has been accepted. Next cyclone, Pakistan's name have been accepted. So on a rotational basis, the names will be given and from the list that has been already submitted by these 13 countries. Now, if we talk about the names will be on the rotational basis with each country providing multiple names for long term list. Now, there are certain rules. ऐसे ही नहीं है कि we can give any name, that they should be apolitical, they should be neutral rules, no political, cultural or gender biases should be there in the names. Then they should be short and easy to pronounce. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि pronunciation ही बहुत difficult हो जाए. Then must not be offensive to any member countries. So a basic morality or basic common sense has to be observed while submitting these names. Now next is, when do this process started? This process started in 2000 when countries under the WMO or SCAP, that is World Meteorological Organization or UN SCAP, agreed to start naming of this cyclone in the North Indian Ocean region. The original members were Bangladesh, India, Maldives, Myanmar, Oman, Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Thailand. Later on other members also joined it. Now each country submits name suggestion and the names are being finalized by this WMO or SCAP panel on the tropical cyclone. After that, the name will be used for the cyclone. Now the present name, that is Ditwah, it was given by Yemen, that you should be knowing. Now with this, you have to attempt this MCQ and you have to post your answers in the comment box.